Welcome back to the Security Central. Today, I want to talk about security that does not stay consistent from shift to shift, from day shift to swing shift, graveyard, back to day shift. 360-degree security circle. Sometimes you only have one shift, day shift. Sometimes it's day and swing shift. Sometimes it's swing and graveyard shift. Sometimes graveyard and day shift, 2 shifts, and if it ain't 24 hours. So what about the guard that works the shift before you? Or let's just say, from this scenario, you're the guard that works the first shift. And there's a constant problem, an individual, maybe a group of individuals that's always, let's say this, for this scenario, it's a shopping center. And it's a constant presence of certain people on the property that loiter, hang around, maybe drinking, maybe being loud, playing music, whatever the case may be. The main point is that they're not patronizing the shopping center. They're just there in the parking lot. 2, 3, 4 cars worth in the parking lot. They're gathering together. They're off on the back of a truck. They're playing cards and drinking alcohol and playing music and gambling and smoking who knows what. And so it's a visual nuisance. Let's say there's reports of potential criminal activity going on in that little group of people or something or what have you. Maybe some things from the shopping center is getting taken from other stores and given to them, or who knows if they're putting them up to it, or if the person's just doing it on their own and hoping that they'll give them a couple dollars for it, because the low economy is saying, hey man, if I can get this, give me this for this. If I can get in this store and get something worth 20, 25, you give me 5 or 10 for it, and they go like, I ain't asking you to do it, but if they do it and I can get it, then okay, cool. So maybe that atmosphere environment start being present on the property for a while. So security gets tasked with quelling that whole situation, right? So let's say day shift is there and they're not necessarily, that's not their forte. Even though they're in security, even though that's their job, but all security ain't made the same, right? Some people just got it because, hey man, I'm here from 8 to 4 and I'm just here 8 to 4, and some is, more stringent about their job and their responsibilities. The whole point of when you're a security officer, you're being employed for a responsibility. You're basically saying from the time that you start your shift to the end, you're responsible, for lack of a better term or understanding, for what happens on that shift. If you're not aware of it, and when you become aware of it, you're responsible at that point for something that happens on that shift that's in your purview of your post orders of your job performance, right? So in this scenario, we're talking about a shopping center, and if at that shopping center, we're saying that you're responsible for keeping the sidewalks clear, maybe, general safety of the general area. Then let's say that you're responsible for loitering and trespassing, general well-being of the shopping center, stuff like that. People's unwanted behaviors, activities that they possibly might be doing on the property. So these people that's there in this certain section corner of the shopping center is violating that, right? It looks bad. You already got the understanding from either the property manager or your security supervisor, manager, or whoever just told you that, hey, this part over here, this is not cool. We don't really want this. We have to keep an eye on this area and keep this area clear. So just from the pure point of saying we have to keep this area clear, in my opinion, means that, okay, well, regardless of what you guys are doing over here, if you're not patronizing the stores, and let me get another thing straight. When we talking about patronizing a store, They like to put in the point of, oh well, I went and I bought something. I bought a doohickey, for da 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 da. So that means I get 15 more minutes. I can stay here. That's not what that means. We're gonna talk about that in another video. But for now, let's just say, you observe and you're reporting. Hopefully, if your security company is on top of their reporting responsibility, that they want you to document everything. So at that point, it depends on what company you're working for, right? Some companies don't want every little nuance documented, right? They say that a lot, that we document everything, we want every. Okay, but when that documentation goes to an email that's never checked, no follow-up ever been follow-up, no approval ever been approved, ain't been looked at by no supervisor, and then, because a lot of times it's always after the fact, something done happened, jumped off, then they want to go, oh crap, let's go back to the DR and see what happened. Okay, sometimes small security companies, mid, even to larger security companies, they just don't document it. It's not filtered or filtered through a doc approval. There's a lot of apps that have supervisor approval before it's sent to sent to the client. But a lot of times that feature ain't turned on. It just goes through pending approval thing and just sits in there. So then let's say, okay, we got other officers, because I said in a YouTube video about how supervisors suck, and somebody, my supervisor's always been great. I've never had a bad supervisor. Okay, well, that's in my experience. That's your experience. In my experience, that ain't been the case. And I've worked for a lot of security companies, large and small, medium and whatever, owned my own company. So, I understand when there's a lack in services, there's a lack in responsibility, there's a lack in the chain of procedure, policy, or operations. I understand that completely. So if you had one that was top tier down to the nitty gritty, then great. But that's not everybody's experience. It's I don't work with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other security officers on teams, individual, through the whole company. I can go in and see from just observation that, yeah, nah, nope. And some you can go, okay, all right, okay, they straight, they got theirs together. I feel it, I can work with this, right? So it depends. If you don't work with one security company and only that company all through your life, and there's only been one supervisor or manager or something like that, okay, fine. That's for you. But I can tell you what, I bet you in the comments, there's a lot more that probably agree with crap shenanigans than not. Okay, but I'm getting off the subject. Okay, cool. Let me get back to what we're supposed to be talking about, right? We're supposed to be talking about keeping it consistent, how to keep it consistent. We'll get back to that later. I'll see y'all later. This has been Chief Davis at the Security Central channel.